What's up, guys? We are live. Welcome to Landscaping to the Point. We're back for another great episode of Landscaping to the Point. I have my great host next to me, JC, and right below me, Josh. I'm Scott, your main host, and we're just here having fun, and we're giving back today. We got a great giveaway going on, so hopefully we got a lot of people here that entered the giveaway, and that's what we got, man. It's been an interesting week for me. We'll get into a little bit later what's been going on and what Josh is doing. He's down there whittling away at wood. He's trying to like make wooden ducks or some crap. I don't know what he's trying to do down there. So who knows? Welcome everybody that's watching and listening. I see we're starting to get people on Instagram, so that's cool. So for this great giveaway, the 2025 great season start. And I want to thank our sponsors. Really, first off, our sponsors were the ones that actually we reached out and they just was like, hey, we're going for it. We'll support you all the way. And that's one of the good things that I like to see in our community is the sponsors, throwing in whatever they can to make it worthwhile for everybody. What do you think, Josh and JC?
Yeah, it's finally come down to tonight. The big giveaway, all the prizes, a lot of prizes put all together by a lot of different sponsors. Like you said, someone's going to get very lucky tonight when it comes
Are
to
we
this.
gonna force everybody to watch the whole show and then release
No,
it?
I'm gonna do it at like 8:50, I won't make everybody force to watch the show all the way. We should. I mean, we should make everybody stay till like 9 o'clock and be like, okay, now there you go, and then just click it off right at the end before it hits the giveaway, so that way they don't see who wins.
The whole three, you have to wait an hour.
Yeah, just wait an hour, and then we'll just not show you who wins. No, we'll show you who wins. We had 84 entries. That's a lot of people that entered into it, so thank you guys for entering. There was multiple times you guys could enter, and that it showed. A lot of people went on to different platforms and definitely entered in, so that's awesome.
You get a whole message, right?
I got one guy on Instagram says he'll wait till the end if he has to, so he's wanting that stuff, so that's awesome. But I'm going to start listing off some of these prizes because a lot of these prizes are just amazing. Some of them Josh doesn't like, but he doesn't use them. That's what it is. So,
Yeah.
Some people don't use them, some people will, and that's what it is. Everybody's got their own preferences, but it's a lot of good stuff for lawn care, landscaping, hardscaping, everybody in between. So,
Look, it's $3.99, so
$3.99, yeah.
$3.99, baby.
So one of our good sponsors, Rhino USA, is a new sponsor. They put in an ultimate toe strap, a 4x30 toe strap. So if you get yourself stuck in the snow, in the mud, you want to go off-roading, here it is, that's there. You can go ahead and definitely use that for that. Comes with a bag that, actually we bought one for our truck. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I can tow some heavy-duty trucks out of there. You could probably tow Josh's truck, his F550 out of the snow if need to be. So that's definitely something, Josh is going to get one of these. I know that eventually he's going to definitely want one of those. So then we also have some stuff from Cujo, which has been a great sponsor of ours for ever since we started the show. So thank you, Cujo, for throwing in on that. It's a pair of their Surge rubber boots. They're one of their newer boots out for if you're in concreting, you're hardscaping, you're doing irrigation work, you're doing fertilization. They're going to keep your feet nice and wet and dry and, not wet, but keep them dry and not wet. So definitely something that you want. And thank you, Cujo, for that. Next, we have Ballard Incorporated. If you don't know who Ballard Incorporated is, they're one of the companies that have a lot of products for your lawn care, all kinds of lawn and landscape stuff. So what they put out there is a Super Jack 2.0, which if you don't know what a Super Jack 2.0 is, we have one in our shop. You can lift your mower up and change those blades easily, and that's going to help you guys out if you ain't got something to lift those up and you're using a floor jack. This will definitely help you out in the long run. So
that's a big piece right there, huh?
Yeah.
What's
That's
that? Do you know how much those cost normally?
Yeah, they're like 300. I think 300 or
Wow.
three something. So I mean, that's a good piece of equipment right there. To add to your inventory. So that's definitely a good thing. So Surecan, one of our newer sponsors too, which Josh doesn't use Surecan. We already heard all his stories about Surecan, and but Surecan's good in some ways. I use Surecan, but they're donating 2 5-gallon gas cans. The retail value on that's like, well, I think over $100. So that's definitely a good, choice to have. You can get it in your red for regular gas, your clear one for white, and then you got your yellow and your blue for kerosene and diesel. So there's a couple different choices there, but that's a very good offer from them. So Stable, which is one of our new sponsors, is throwing a whole box full of stuff. If you've seen in the promotion that I had, there was a whole bunch of Stable stuff. I think it's like 30 products that they have. Every one of their products, they're sending you a can or a bottle of it to try it out. And there's a lot of things that can do for you. I know, JC, you used Stable before to put in your engines to stabilize them for the winter. So, I mean, they got a bunch of great products that they're going to send you. And, when I got the box, I was just amazed and seeing all that stuff that came in. So
you almost want to keep all that stuff for yourself.
Oh yeah. You want to, you're like, what can I do? And then one of our other new sponsors, Antigo Tires, they put in a $100 gift card. So we have used Antigo Tires for our trailer tires. They do lawnmower tires also. They're a great tire. I think they're made here in the United States, which is even better than having them made from somewhere overseas. But they got a lot of different options for you. So thank you for donating a gift card. And then our last sponsor, our second to last sponsor, is Pro Parts Direct. They're throwing in 4 spools of 5 pounds of weed whip line, Black Diamond weed whip line. So this will get you through the whole year if you're out there weed whipping or you're doing some edges. You'll get some nice crispy edges with this line. I've used it before. I know JC's used it before. I think they sent some to Josh. Josh probably threw it in the garbage. I don't know. He doesn't use much weed whip line, but he used it before. So, Josh loves weed whip line and he likes to tie his shoes with it. So if you need line for your shoes, Josh has got it. So
that's over $120 worth of a line.
I think each line is actually $79 a piece.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of smaller.
The big ones. Yeah, the big ones of Black Diamond are expensive, man. Dude, that whole take's probably about almost $1,000, man. That's a pretty good take.
Yeah, we're up to about over $1,000 right now, and then also Pro Parts is throwing in, and this is something that you usually have to spend a lot of money to get. You're getting a 1-year free Pro Gold membership, which means anytime you buy a product from them, they'll send it to you for free for free. Your shipping's free. You don't have to pay any shipping on it at all. You get your product, it'll ship it right to you for free. So 1 year full gold membership, you don't have to pay for shipping. So if you need any parts for your lawnmower blades, you need oil for your Kawasaki or whatever you need, you can definitely have them and they'll send it to you. I think that you have to spend over $300 or $500 just to get to that membership. So, I mean, that's a good add-on into it. So, and then last is just me. I'm throwing in a couple shirts. I'm throwing in some hats, all kinds of different hats and stickers. And we got some Echo products that I'm throwing out there to you guys, some cooling towels and stuff to hopefully get you going for the year and keep you cool. So, I mean, there's I kind of added it up. It's over $2,000 worth of products that we're going to get to you guys and make sure you're set up for the year, which, that's an awesome, great start for this year. And, who else could do that? I haven't seen any of these other good guys sponsoring and giving back to the people that listen to us and watch us and just are there for everyone in the green industry like us.
Fucking losers.
Yes, it is. We've got a guy on Instagram saying it's nuts. It is nuts. It's a lot of stuff. You know,
That's a really good take, man. That is a really good take.
How are they going to get the right size shoes for Cujo? Are they going to get like a certificate or
So
something?
what'll happen is with Cujo, I will give everybody out their name to Cujo, and they'll reach right out to you, and they'll get you your size and your address and get it shipped to you. Same thing with Pro Parts Direct. I'm gonna get them your name, and they'll get your information, so that way they can get that stuff to you right away. I will be shipping out the line. I have the line here with me, so line will get there from me. You'll get a box of line from me. You'll get all the stuff that I get put into it, and then also the Rhino USA product will come straight from me. Rhino sent all that stuff to me, so that's a good thing. Ballard will also send all the stuff to you from his shop exact. So Ballard will reach out to you guys and ship it out to you. And then also, if I'm correct, Antigo Tires, I'll get them your information. They'll get you a gift certificate number, and you can go on there and pay, get whatever tires you need for your mowers. Shirt Can's going to ship them right to you, and so is Stable. So that's another good thing. We'll have a bunch of them just shipped direct right to you from our sponsors, that's awesome too. It's a good thing for everybody to win. So if anybody could win it, that this is the best thing to win. So
it's Christmas in March.
Christmas in March. It's I haven't done a giveaway like this in a long time ago. And it wasn't as big as this. This is one of the bigger giveaways that I've done, and I think this is one of the bigger giveaways, unless you're going to Equip and trying to win a mower. So I mean, there ain't nobody out there doing this type of a giveaway, so definitely worth it. So Josh, which one, if you could win, which one would you rather have over any of them?
That Jack sounds interesting, man. I like that Jack.
Yeah, it would definitely lift your mowers up. I've seen it. If you ain't seen it, definitely go check out Ballard. They do lift up your mowers real easy. It lifts up the zero turns. It lifts up the stand-ons, and you can get underneath there, and it's nice and safe to get them blades off. So that's always a good thing too. So yeah, JC, which one would you like to have if you could win?
Well, he said the lift, so I can't say that. I'm gonna go with the Cujo. I wish they would have thrown in a pair of the pants.
Yeah, Cujo's been sponsoring us for a long time. Thank you for sponsoring us. Like you said, a pair of pants would have been awesome, especially since they just released some new olive ones of their regular pants. So that would have been awesome to throw in there.
Not saying we're not thankful for the boost. I'm just saying it would be cool.
Yeah, is Cujo and Ballard the same? They're owned by the same company, the same guy?
No.
Gotcha.
Cujo's owned from a guy, Sean. He's down in North Carolina, but most of his business is kind of up in Michigan. And Ballard's over in Corey Ballard. If you don't know who Corey Ballard is, he's been on our show once before. He's in Iowa. Ballard products. He does sell Cujos. He does sell some other things too. The Super Jack. He sells lawnmower blades, some safety equipment. So Ballard's got a lot of different cool things too on their website. So if you guys are looking for anything too, besides, like I said, you can always go to Pro Parts. Pro Parts, they got a lot of good stuff too. So,
Yeah, Ballard has some cool one-of-a-kind items that are like shortcuts to helping you throughout your day, deck scrapers, blades, like you talked about.
Are they American made, Ballard?
Ballard is.
I think
some of the stuff is American made, if I'm correct. Some stuff I think he has, from a different company outside of the United States, but I think a lot of it's made in the United States. So, but like JC said, they got some unique things like the blade scraper to go underneath your deck, the deck scrapers that nobody's got that, and you can be able to reach underneath there. That might be something too, Josh, you might want to look into, is one of those deck scrapers too. So
you know what, for me, I'm just paint scrapers, man. I've just always been a paint scraper type person. Cheap,
right?
Cheap dude.
The one I got, dude, from him it's probably like $12 or 14 inches long. So you can kind of reach right in there and get that scraped out real good. So.
And if you don't clean your deck, you don't have to worry about that. So.
Yeah. Just run it under a puddle, right?
Exactly. Fucking perfect. Smash it. You gotta walk on, just smash the front wheels down, and right into a puddle, dude. Good as
A
new.
couple times, and there you go.
Man, some of that stuff is stubborn. It stays right on there, caked on. Even with scraping it, it stays on. It's tough.
Oh yeah.
I used to get a wire wheel sometimes when it get like the really stubborn stuff that's stuck on there.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you what, it's definitely a great thing to have, and sometimes I tell you some of the stuff that people try to do to get their stuff set up for the year. It's just amazing. It's I don't know. It's weird how, like you said, they bounce the mowers up and then destroy something else just to make it look better. So. All right, so we are about ready to pull thing. Is anybody ready to win? I don't think anybody's ready.
Oh, wait, we're doing this now?
Yeah, we could do it. Or you want to talk some more about some of the products we got?
Being a tease.
I know. We got to make it. Because
we got a joke. We got a joke from Brightstone here. We could throw that joke out to everybody here today, guys.
What was the joke that he had for us this week? Did I already say?
What's the longest word in the English language?
This word.
What?
Smiles, because there is a mile between the first and last letters.
I've heard that one when I was very young.
Is that a good one?
I give that a 2.2. Sorry, try again.
Try again. Okay. All right, try again. Let's try again. Okay, well, we got one more from him. His next one is, why is the math book unhappy? Because
it has a lot of problems.
Had a lot of many problems, yeah. I don't know. I don't know about that one either. Brightstone, you got to give us some better ones, man. Come on. We're waiting for you, Brightstone. We can't pull the winner now, Brightstone, until you come.
I'll give him that.
Oh, we gave you a one on that, Brightstone. You better hurry up and back us up. Give us up something good here. I'm waiting for you, Brightstone. Yep, I'm waiting. All right. So, Shurikens. I knew Josh is a good big fan of Shurikens because
I like the Shurikens. I don't have one, but I have seen them at the Equip Expo.
We actually have we run blue for our mix, so that way we don't change it up and get it mixed up. Red for our regular gas. We got the yellow for diesel. We have the white that every truck of ours has on it, and every trailer, because then we have water to wash our hands with. I mean, that's one of the good things about the white is you can put whatever you want in it. I've seen guys put in antifreeze in it, windshield wiper fluid, but a lot of guys use it for the white because of the white spigot. So definitely, it's definitely good for that. So.
Yeah, I was gonna buy some at Equip, but I couldn't carry all that on the plane with me.
Yeah, you could have had it sent home.
Yeah.
Okay, Brightstone's got another one. Why was the broom late?
Why was the
broom late? The broom.
Why was the broom late? Because.
Why?
It overswept. Let's see what that one. Oh, JC gave him a 1. What do we got here? We got a 2. Ooh, no.
He had a better one last week.
Yep.
Right now.
He had a good one.
He's got one more here. He's trying today.
All right.
He said, "What?"
He's struggling
I know,
today.
You're struggling,
He's struggling today. He needs to get at least a 4.
Yes, you need a 4. Why did the man get fired from the orange juice factory?
Why did the man get fired from the orange juice?
Oh, this one's got you. It's got you thinking here, huh?
Hold on, I don't want to know the answer to this one yet. Why was the guy fired from the orange juice company factory? Something about a squeeze.
No. He couldn't concentrate.
Okay. All right.
God? What do you got? Let's see what number you got. Oh,
I'll give him the good old 5 there.
all right. We got a 4
I've
to
been
5.
harder
So
on
you
him.
definitely broke it. So now I guess we can pull winners and get to the rest of the show, guys.
Let's pull
All
some
right.
winners.
Good.
So we are going to
Let's pull a winner.
pull one winner. Yeah, one big winner that's going to enjoy this. So we're going to put on my other camera here. And here we go. We're going to go right to our spinner. As you can see, right here's all our spinners. If we are ready, what is the wheel doing? There we go. Are we ready, guys?
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Spinning.
And the winner is stopping.
We got
Ooh, Caitlin Donahue. Caitlin Donahue has won everything. We have a winner. Nice going, Caitlin Donahue.
She got that one for St. Patrick's Day, Miss Donahue.
Yeah, see? So we have a winner. So congratulations, Caitlin Donahue. So let's go back to our show. So everybody, thank you guys for tuning in to Landscaping to the Point. So now we're gonna have some good fun here. So now that we had a winner today, Caitlin Donahue won the great season start to 2025. Josh, what has been going on with you this week? How has work been going? I know we still a couple weeks away from doing any hardscaping in your area, but what is going on that is you guys keeping busy with?
Prep work. Still moving the yard around and getting things prepared. Estimates. Lots of estimates coming in. Finishing up a couple small jobs from last year. We just did some parking lot striping, some fence work. We got a couple commercial cleanups this week we're doing, and then honestly, I think we got a lot of rain coming in this week supposedly. But I think after that, we're gonna go full throttle and just open up the cleanups and everything. I got mulch deliveries coming in Wednesday and Thursday, so we'll be pushing. I mean, the inquiries aren't crazy, but it's there's definitely traction there with people calling and asking for pricing. So
yeah, no doubt. Now I've been seeing some guys doing it in different areas. Is this something that you guys do, Josh? I mean, I know we do it here and there. It just depends on how bad the disruption is from the snow removal. But do you guys go out and do like repair of properties if you damage them, like plowing into it, like scraping the grass too far, or somebody's snow in a different area? So is that what you do that now? Kind of getting prepped for the season too? Would you do that now?
So we already went out and did postseason inspections, and there's a few we have to clean up. We're just waiting for them to make sure the nice weather stays, and then we'll go out, rake out the ruts, put down some loam, some seed, and that's it. That's as far as we have to go with it. And then obviously, like any damage, like I know one property actually we lost towards the end of the winter. I myself took down a light post, so I'm waiting for all the property damage vouchers to come in on that stuff to see what we got going. But yeah, we'll do all our repairs and stuff throughout this month.
Okay. So is there any particular seed that you like to use, or do you just use whatever is available at the time?
For stuff like that, I just use like a Northeast mixed.
Okay. What is that? Like I know like our area mix is pretty much like it's usually like 25% Kentucky bluegrass, and then the rest is kind of like a tall fescue. So what do you guys kind of use up by your area?
This is fescue, blue, and rye.
Yeah,
perennial
rye.
Perennial rye. So probably like 20% each, or a little bit higher on the fescue.
I think it's higher on the fescue and rye.
Okay.
You can go higher on the blue. It's just a lot more money, and it won't match. Typically, everybody has like a park mix or a Northeast mix up here for their lawn. So
I see. All right, so that's kind of in this time of getting prepped for the season, and I think that's a good thing for all of us that do snow removal. I mean, I've been seeing some guys doing it. Something that we've always done. We kind of go around and pull our stakes, and that's when we go around and say, okay, well, this one needs to be fixed. and go from there and get it fixed as soon as possible. I think that's something that I think every company should do. And if you ain't doing it, like definitely do it.
So,
Do you have anything in your contracts that kind of say like if it's this much damage that we're gonna have to charge you, or you just having it there? Like I know in my contracts it says, well, any damage done to the property we will fix after the season, unless it's something major.
no, normal wear and tear like grass or like concrete curbs is up to us to mark out and to make sure we don't hit. So, like there's some concrete curbing we'll have to take care of. There's lawn, anything that if there was an obstruction to like a snow pile area and something was damaged and we were forced to put it to relocate and something's damaged, then, depending on the extent of it, we might charge. We might send a quote in. If it's a good customer, we'd probably just take care of it if it's not crazy. But no, for the most part, it's I think it's the provider's responsibility to make sure that everybody on your crew knows, where the curb lines are or the grass lines are. Obviously, the hard part up here, even for like the residential guys, is this might be the first year the ground actually froze that you could plow up and not do significant plow damage. But the past few years, you haven't really been able to you know, kind of push back and coast. You're tearing up lawns left and right. So it kind of comes with the territory.
Yeah, I think it does. I think you got to know exactly where everything is, and like you said, it's kind of get up to you to as an owner or a general manager to kind of go through your crew and say this is what needs to be fixed here, or this is what you got to look out when you're plowing. I think that's one of the things you should always do, especially if you got multiple crews out there plowing, because you never know who's gonna mess something up or not notice where anything's at that you notice. So definitely.
Then it's nature of the beast. Stuff's gonna get broken.
Yeah. What'd you say, JC?
Get insurance, people. Get insurance.
I think that's one of the main things that I've heard over the last couple of years of guys that don't have the insurance, and they're out there plowing or they don't have the right coverage. Like JC, you said, having the insurance the best thing. Even Josh said, a couple episodes before of having the right insurance and making sure that you're set up for that season. Even the lawn care season. If you got out there in the lawn care season and you're just mowing and landscaping, do you have the right insurance for something to shoot into a window and break a window, or a door, or a mower to actually go ramp it and run into the gas meter or whatever. So that's some of the things that you got to think about too.
I feel like that's a big issue because a lot of the times when guys start up, right, they're starting up on the cheap, and the cheaper route to go with insurance is to say you're a lawn mowing company, you're just cutting grass, maybe slinging some mulch. And usually that's where you're going to get that $500 to $1,200 per year range, right? Like I know, like Next Insurance, they have all these people that quote them, and I actually called Next for a couple quotes, and they got to the point where they wouldn't insure me, just because of the amount of stuff that I do. I know when I talked to my insurance agent when I started out, and it was just mowing, and he said, "What are things that you're looking to get into?" I told him, I said, probably pavers, some plantings. He goes, all right, that's stuff that's considered under excavation because you could be digging more than 12 inches below grade. That's stuff that you may not be covered if, like Scott just said, you hit fiber optic, you hit, a gas line that wasn't buried correctly, electrical line. You know what happens, if you decide to take on a staircase job and you're jackhammering out concrete and that foundation already has stress fractures in it and you do damage to the foundation, now they want to hit you up for a $50,000 claim, and now your insurance company goes, well, Josh, you cut lawns. You're not supposed to be doing that. So each year, I think as you add on services, you want to talk to your insurance company and just make sure that you're covered for certain things, because insurance companies, we've all seen it. The way it's going is less and less and less. They want to cover stuff, and they deny. I had a claim a few years ago where we had a loader that blew a hydraulic line, and we called out one of those 800 services to come replace the line. They made a fucking mess of hydraulic fluid on brand new pavement. And rather than cutting out the area, they wanted to pave the whole lot because it was brand new construction. It was about $70,000. My insurance company was trying to call me and say, hey, we're going to go halvesies. I said, why are we going to go halvesies? I said, he was like, well, it's like, the coverage is there. But technically, it's just there's a second party. We were subcontracted. Their insurance company doesn't want to pay, so we want to find someone to go halfway. Oh no, fuck you! I pay for the fucking coverage. It's property damage. You're gonna cover it. They just didn't like the way it was being done. It was a fight, but it got done. So I immediately called my broker and said, "Hey, let me just make sure like I'm good. Like when I have equipment on site, like these loaders, like if something like this happens somewhere else, am I responsible for fucking an entire section of pavement being redone?" The simple answer is no. You would fix that area, but in this circumstance, the entire lot was brand new, probably not even 6 months old. So
Wow.
they didn't want to have the seams.
Right.
So, and even this year, like I'm anticipating about $10,000 in claims this year for damages on one particular property. Um, I'm a little nervous that certain things might not be covered on it. We'll see. But I think you definitely have to check every year. I mean, I honestly got to say, like, if you, and I could be wrong here, but if you're paying less than $1,500 a year for your insurance and you're doing more than lawn mowing and putting in plants, you might not be covered correctly.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think that's something everybody should check into it. Like you said, so many people get out there and they start mowing and they don't think about having that coverage, and just having the general liability in case somebody comes up and steals one of your weed whips or your blowers. Like that's a good amount of money that you got to throw out if somebody steals something while you're out there mowing. Especially being by yourself. You're sometimes in a backyard. You're starting out. You might, it might have took you, a month to get that, brand new PB90 10, and you come out from the backyard and it's gone. What do you do then? If you don't have the insurance, then you're screwed. You're trying to figure out, how do I pay for this new blower? And you got grass all over everywhere. And what are you going to do that time? So yeah, I think having this right for yeah. Go ahead, JC. What were you saying?
No, I was going to say not only that, but it's going to put you up for a while too. And it's a no-brainer. It's cheap enough that just get it and don't worry about it afterwards. But
Right.
like what Josh is saying, make sure you're covered for the right stuff too, and don't try to cheap it out because you're going to end up hurting yourself at the end, anyways. So just pay for. I always think pay for the highest that you can,
Yeah.
and play it safe.
I mean, compare cover. I mean, that's where it helps having the agents too, because when you have a local agent, like I know it's easy to go to places like Next, and essentially all Next is doing is calling up 50 different underwriters, and getting you the best plan. They're not comparing coverages per se. You go to a writer's gonna look and say, hey, this one's $1,000 more, but you get this much more coverage on what you're doing, and give you the example. You don't necessarily want to pay bottom dollar because chances are they're cutting things out, that you could essentially need at some point.
Right.
Insurance, I tell you, you'll pay for years not needing it, but I tell you, like in 10 years, my insurance, I mean, I've probably paid quite a bit, but I mean, at least 150 grand worth of claims. Yeah,
Right.
So I mean, it does it, and I get it. It marks up. Listen, I had one year in my commercial auto. I myself backed into 3 cars, hit a garage door.
And he wasn't even working. That was his personal life.
and took out a window of the rental I had while my truck was in the dealership. So I mean, right there, how much money did that save me? So
right. I think it's worth it. I mean, yeah, even like JC saying, having the top, coverage that you can have. What are you going to pay? $2,000 a year, $3,000 a year to make sure everything's covered and covered the right way. Us doing fertilization, the state requires us to have $300,000 per incident per occurrence. And I think it's like 600,000 max. Okay, our company has over $2 million coverage, just to be on the safe side, because I've seen a company that literally went through one of their guys, burned a bunch of lawns. It was, I think, 75 yards that they burned in 1 month. And the company had to literally end up paying for it because their coverage stopped out at, a certain amount, and was like, okay, well, At this point, you're done. We'll cover that part, but we're not going to cover the rest of these 20 houses that you burned. What do you do at that point? So having the top coverage for certain things, like you're doing that, like Josh said, hitting a cable line or a fiber optic line, that's a good amount of money that they're going to charge you to fix.
Yeah.
And do you have that kind of coverage for it? I think that's one of the things we're going to have.
The other good thing too is that you could advertise that about your business, that you are fully covered, so that customers are confident in knowing who they're hiring, and they don't have to worry themselves about getting screwed over by a company that's not doing things legitimately. Like if you're passing out flyers, like that's one of the biggest things I'd advertise. That kind of sets you apart from other businesses that aren't really, you know, indicating that they are covered or not. You want that open honesty from a business end, so that when a customer hires you, they fully feel confident that they're hiring someone that if something goes south, it could be corrected and done.
And to make that another point is like educate the potential clients on that. Whereas if like a provider shows up or a contractor shows up and they're underinsured or not insured, and say they're cleaning the gutters or trimming a tall bush, and them or a helper falls off, they're going to sue your homeowner's insurance policy, and now you're going to get probably kicked off that policy, or that policy is going to skyrocket on you, and it's going to be hard. So, like JC's saying, you're kind of thinning the liability. You are thinning the liability on the homeowner by saying, hey, I have workman's comp coverage. I have commercial auto. I have general liability, 1 million, 2 million, or 2 million, 4 million umbrella policy. You could put a little jacket together in a binder and just say, hey, here's my stuff to show you. Boom.
Yeah, I think that's one of the good things you can do. A lot of people, I see a lot of companies, especially in our area, that they say they mow grass and all that. And I think, like you're saying, by going out and telling people that you're fully insured, I think it's better than just saying, hey, I just mow grass, because at least then you're covered, because I've seen so many times where a window gets broken or one of those glass doors get broken, and or you run over something in the middle of the yard, you run over a bush or something, and what are you going to do at that point? It might be that expensive Japanese maple that was planted, but that's $300, and you're just like, crap, now what do I do?
Wow.
Definitely make sure that you're insured.
And I didn't have it, but like supplemental insurance too. If you get hurt, especially if you're a single operator and you depend on yourself for your own income, it's a very dangerous job. And I think we've already seen some posts this year where some people have gone through some stuff and gotten really hurt. Like there was one time, and it's probably nothing compared to what some other guys experienced, but I was mowing a lawn, and this lady, she had a green extension cord going from the house all the way to the backyard to like light something up. I don't know, but it blended in with the lawn because it was green, and it was a live wire. And I almost ran that thing over. Like who knows what would have happened in that situation?
Right. Oh yeah, that's dangerous. I mean, that's definitely something that's one of those things that you don't realize unless you're totally aware of. Sometimes you're not going to see that either. Like you said, it blended in real good. But
it was now I remember, it was like a spotlight she had against a bush in a flower bed, but she ran the extension cord all the way from the house all the way through the backyard to the specific bush for some reason, and it was still plugged. She left it plugged in all day, and I didn't see it. It was daytime, and because the cord was green, I almost ran it over.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the things that I think a lot of guys don't realize that could happen. Josh, I got one for you on that topic too, on insurance and stuff. Okay, our insurance has us cover everybody that drives for us. Is your insurance the same way? I think it's something that, as in a guy that has employees, they should have their drivers, under their insurance. Correct?
Correct. I mean, I know some guys will, if there's an accident, they'll tell the guys to use their own car insurance, which you can do. But typically, I mean, your insurance company again wants you to have all your employees. But again, I know a lot of guys pay under the table, and then it comes back to bite you in the ass. But if you have commercial plates on your vehicle and you get into an accident and that person's not on, it's the same thing like if you have a kid that gets a driver's license, drives your car, and you don't put them on the policy, they're gonna kick you off and they're gonna skyrocket it like 70%. So yes, my insurance company encourages me to make sure I add the people each year, and obviously I get a quote beforehand for adding them because if you get someone that just has a shitty driving record, um, another company I knew had nothing to do with this industry at all. Potential applicants, some people don't like doing this as far as applicants. They would have those applicants go down to the DMV and get their driving record and have to submit it to you within like a day of receiving it. So you kind of got an idea if anybody has like a Dewey or aggressive driving or anything like that.
Right. Yeah. I actually worked for a company when I was first starting out. I worked for another company helping them out, and that was one of the things is like literally they checked your DMV record just to make sure that you were, Ohio. I think it's like you can't if you're over 6 points, you're kind of a risky driver. So, at that point I was over 6 points. So he was like, yeah, you're not going to be able to drive for us till those points come down to where we can have you drive for us. And I think that's something that you should definitely look into, especially hiring people and, especially if they're driving for you. Because like Josh, like you said, you don't know, you don't want to have somebody that's, risky driving for you. So, yeah. All right. What else is going on this week, guys? So Josh, you're prepping. We talked about insurance. We had a winner this week. Caitlin Donahue won the prize of a lifetime, pretty much.
I get an announcement here. So after 10 years of being exclusively Echo with my weed whips, whatever you call them, the past 2 years, I've been having major issues with, again, and I go to Home Depot and buy the ones at Home Depot just because they're cheaper. But the past 2 years, I've had nothing but issues with these things just stop working, motor seizing. I know a few people on the residential side, the same issue. So I actually switched to Red Max this year. I just bought. I don't remember the model number, but it's the second. It's just the second highest. Second below the highest model they have on the commercial side. So that'd be interesting to see how those work out this year.
I've heard a lot of people, and I know we had problems with, I think 2 years ago, we had problems with the Echo, the SRM smaller ones. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I've used them for 10 years, and usually they'd be good for, an abusive season or 2 seasons. But, I mean, we were barely getting a couple months out of them. And, just the whole warranty issue with Home Depot lately has been kind of a pain in the ass. So, we buy in with intention of, I got to read it backwards.
He is a traitor.
No. Hey, look, I got my gear in. Listen, I'm sorry. It is what it is. Like Echo was always the top notch for weed whackers, and I still use them for head trimmers. But I'm not a fan of the weed whackers right now, man. I'm really not. And I know some guys will say, "Go get the pro ones," blah blah blah. But listen, I've used the pro ones. I've invested in them. They do last, but I like the cheap ones because the guys beat the shit out of them. At the time they were like $250 at the depot, and we knew if it was a busy season and we actually took on maintenance stuff, we knew they were going to the dumpster after the season. If they were babied, we'd get a couple years out of them. But not lately. So I have a dealer down the street from my house, and I walked in there last week and grabbed a few Red Max weed whackers.
Oh, that's good that you went down to Turf Depot.
No, I will never go to Turf Depot for anything again. Turf Depot can suck my 11 eye.
You know why his Echo trimmers are not lasting? It's because he's not purchasing replacement parts from Pro Parts Direct.
That's
he's
right.
so stubborn that he'd just rather go out and buy a new mower.
Wait. Time out. Just to clarify, I don't have any issue with Pro Parts Direct. I have an issue with their parent company, Turf Depot. And Turf Depot, I think the gentleman that
you would have been fine. If you would have bought replacements, you would have been fine.
Well, you know what? If Turf Depot would fucking help me buy a weed whacker, I would have bought it from there and warranted it with the fucks. But they don't know how to look up fucking parts and be service fucking writers.
You're always
I'm pretty sure the gentleman that runs Pro Parts Direct would agree with me without fucking getting fired, hopefully. But
But yeah, I think I think it's just whoever. It's what weed whip you like and what you enjoy, and I think Josh likes to go to a different weed whip company because he's had issues, and I think a lot of guys have had issues in the last couple of years, and it's been brought up to Echo, so I don't know what their plan is and how to attack it, but I think that's something that hopefully they get fixed in the next year or two, because I think a lot of people are fed up with that, and a lot of people are fed up with still too because they had some issues with their backpack
I
blowers
won't
too.
buy
So I
still.
mean,
I bought one still in 10 years, and I worked for companies that had them, and I know some guys are religious by them. They're unreliable. They're unreliable. They're overpriced. The Echoes I always liked because they were priced fairly. They fucking worked when you went to go start them. You ever see those things like those rails where like someone's trying to fucking start something and they can't start it, they smash it? That's me with a fucking steel. Like fucking still chainsaws and weed whips. Fuck them.
I don't get why steel covers
right,
all their access points, like to get to like simple things to fix. Like you got
Yeah.
to unscrew a cover to get to like the carburetor, and well, I mean you do that with the Echo too, but still,
Well, think about it. It's slightly retention. If someone doesn't have like isn't mechanically inclined, you're kind of forced to go to an authorized still dealer. So they're kind of like throwing the work back to their fucking dealers at the same time.
right. Plus, you see them only in a dealer. Pretty much, that's where a lot of them are sold, are in dealers. There's not many. I don't think there's any stores that sell them outside of a
there's a
dealer.
place
so-
out here
so I-
called Rocky's Ace Hardware.
Yes.
Yeah, they do it.
Okay, Ace Hardware does. Okay, yeah, I didn't know that Ace Hardware did that. So
It
that's
might be
interesting.
different in different regions of the country, but at least in our end, on the Northeast, they sell steel.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot. Pretty much around us, it's just dealers that you can get them from that are just sell still. So
I know
mean,
why
that's
he switched to Red Max
something
though, because the dealer is right up the street from his house.
right. That's why. Yeah, I get it. I mean, a lot of things. It's about having the dealer that's real close. That dealer being right there is probably the best thing. So he jumped off because we kept talking about
Yeah,
Echo. That's
yeah.
what.
No.
He's gonna show us He's gonna show us his collection of Pro Parts Direct.
Yeah. Where's your Pro Parts Direct catalog? We know you have one.
Look again.
Anyway.
I have no issue with
I have no
with
issue.
Pro Parts
I
Direct
know you don't.
whatsoever. It's
It's
I've never used Pro Part Direct, so I don't have anything to say about them.
all right. So is it working good, or this is gonna be the first season using the Red Max because you haven't used
I haven't
it yet?
used them yet. Dropped them off. This will be my first season. Again, I was for a very long time a religious Red Max backpack user until Echo came out with their 8010s and 9010s. We just got the 9000 on the Echo, which I think that's Echo's competition right now. It's a new Red Max, so I hope they're good. I've seen a few commercial guys rolling around with Red Max weed whackers in their trucks, so I'm hoping.
Yeah, Red Max's backpacks are no joke. They're
Oh man, and that 9000, like the fucking tube is massive.
Yeah, it is pretty big. So,
But I will say, man,
but I don't think
it was something almost close to like after tax. It was like $5 per fucking weed whacker, which is like,
Wow.
man, I still think that's kind of expensive. I know some guys will say, oh, if you go buy the commercial fucking Echo ones, but I think even with the commercial Echo without the discount, they were around like $375. So
I think they're like 4 something right
yeah,
now.
because I know
So,
that 9000 cost
yeah.
me about $850.
Right.
Husqvarna has the more powerful backpack blower right now, currently, I think, right? Yeah.
I don't know about that one. I've heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that was the case. So.
It was funny. I like Husky, and I think Husky's very dependable. But I've never purchased I bought like used stuff offline, like Craigslist back in the day, and was always
Right.
decent, but never purchased anything new from them.
I mean, we have some chainsaws that are from them, but literally as of, we used to have their backpacks at one point, We did go a year that we tested out a couple different backpacks to see if the difference changed between Echo to Husqvarna. And the problem we had with the Husqvarnas is they didn't last. They didn't last that full season, and I think that was one of the downfalls for us for Husqvarna.
Yeah,
so
I mean, Husqvarna 590 BTS. It has 1,245 cubic feet per minute and 216 miles per hour. So I think
it can blow better than JC on a Friday night.
It's it's currently, I think, the strongest one now on the market.
So what was the speed on that?
It's 1,245 CFM and 216 miles per hour. But who knows if they're measuring that from the tube or from,
That's the problem. I think a lot of them don't. They all measure differently, and that's where I think it comes into a factor that till you actually get it in your hands and actually run it, it's kind of hard. I mean, you could definitely, I know Echo does theirs at the end of the tube, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things like, if they're both at the end of the tube, then I'd say, maybe that might be the perfect thing, so, because, let's see, Echo's is 220. Echo's is 220 at the tube. Husqvarna was what, 2 something you said?
Well, I don't know if it's at the tube, but they say it's 216.
So Echo's still faster, 220 for the 9010. 220 at the 90.
Yeah, but the CFM might be more on the Husqvarna.
And Echo goes by newtons too, so their newtons are at 48 newtons.
How about this? Before we leave, Husqvarna, if you're listening, send us 3 your best backpack blowers so we can do a test comparison side by side.
Yeah,
it's just crazy how they measure. It's like the debate of like guys that measure from the scrotum versus the pelvic bone. You can't compare. You're giving yourself like a 5-inch head start.
You got to measure after you jump in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair game for everybody.
Throw the blowers in some ice and see how they do.
The tube shrink up real quick.
Definitely, Husqvarna sent us some blowers. We'd love to test out your blowers, or if any of you other guys have any blowers or weed whips, definitely send them our way. We'll definitely test them against some of the Echo products that we have. It'd be interesting. I mean, I know that there's that Pro Run blowers. I think that's out, and a lot of guys say they're shitty. So I mean, that's when you got already new company coming out saying that they're good top quality, and a lot of people are saying they're shitty. It's like good luck. So it's definitely one of those fun things. So Josh, what are you whittling us? Are you whittling us a new sign that says landscaping to the point? I mean, you're doing it little by little.
Yeah, you want to see it right here?
Carved out a bird.
Yeah, that was a bird. I can see the bird. Yeah. All right. So I know this week's gonna be really fun. This week, you guys are getting rain. I know we got a couple days of rain, so I mean it sucks. Yeah.
But I tell you, man, I think after this week with the rain and some fair temps coming in next week, I think you're gonna start seeing the cherry blossoms go, the tulips start popping up. I think you're gonna see a lot of stuff start blooming. If you notice, man, the bunnies are out, squirrels are out, birds are out full throttle. So
yeah, I mean our grass really popped real quick. A lot of the grass was dormant on Monday. We did a couple ferts. I did a big one that's literally right down the road from me, and it's bright green right now. So I mean it's definitely popping now. So I think it's about that go time. And so we're about as good as from. Yeah. You're got about another month, and then you'll get the green. So, and then you guys will be ready to go. So, all right, guys. Well, thank everybody for watching. I want to thank our sponsors again: Ballard, Cujo Shoes, Rhino USA, Pro Parts Direct, SureCan, Stable, and Antigo Tires. Thank you guys for sponsoring our show and sponsoring the giveaway. And thank you to Caitlin Donahue and everybody that entered in. And it was just awesome to be able to get back to you guys, and I want to thank everybody for joining in and doing that. So, and we will be back next week, hopefully.